This here is an audit that I think will massively help most business owners, especially if you're not getting the growth that you want or you're having consistent challenges or frustrations with staff. So one of the things that we consistently hear about with the business owners who come to our courses, our events, or hire us for our services is that most of them are stressed and frustrated, especially when they're small businesses and they've got a bunch of staff. They feel like staff are non-productive. They're frustrated that they say certain things and things aren't getting done or the culture's wrong, and it creates this animosity within the organization. So this framework is one of the frameworks that I teach to go back and do an audit of your staff, because you may have the wrong people in the wrong places and it may be time to hire the right people. One of the first things that you want to do when you're auditing staff is to understand what types of people you have in the organization already. This here is a Likeability-Competency scale. This comes from Harvard, where they spoke about this idea of the likability scale and the competency scale. Now, a lot of businesses always love the Lovable Star. These are the people that have high likability and high competence. So they are very proficient at what they do, they're autonomous, they know how to get stuff done, but they also have a great personality, they're a great culture fit. These are the people that we want in our organization. Now, if we could have that, we would have a superstar organization and you would be absolutely crushing it. That normally isn't what happens. Normally what will happen is that you'll go on holidays, you're away for 2 days, the shit hits the fan, you stress the whole time when you're on holidays and you're frustrated. Normally because you've got other people in your organization. So up the top here, we have the competent jerk. These are the highly skilled people that aren't quite a culture fit. Now, I'll talk about that salesperson who just comes in, is absolutely amazing, smashes sales, but at the same time makes everybody else feel like shit. They call everybody out in the team. They say, you're not as good as I am. And they create a lot of animosity in the team. This can absolutely destroy a business. So sometimes having the competent jerk can destroy your culture, destroy your team, and make it almost impossible to retain staff. But a lot of business owners think that they would rather keep that person. If you read the study from Harvard or the Harvard article, they talk about most business owners saying that they would actually keep that person. In reality though, they don't. When we come down to the bottom here, this is low competence, high likability. So down here you get the Lovable Fool. These are the people who aren't as competent as you want them to be, but you like them. So these are normally small business owners who hire their mum, their dad, their cousin. They say, look, we're looking for another tradie. And someone goes, I know someone who can do the job. And so you hire them because you like the person and they referred them. And so these are your lovable fools. The problem with lovable fools are that they're incompetent. So they might not have the skill set because they haven't been trained and developed, or they are just literally shit at their job, but you'll keep them around because you like them. Now, a lot of business owners when interviewed say, nope, I would just get rid of them. But in reality, when you actually read the research and the study in the Harvard article, most businesses keep these people around because they don't want to get rid of them. The problem with likable fools is that you'll keep investing time and energy trying to train, trying to educate them. I did this years ago when I hired a whole team of people and I got along really, really well with them. But I found myself becoming passive aggressive towards them because I'd let them get away with things, let them get away with things, let them get away with things. And then eventually I would snap, I'd fly off the handle and I'm going, why have I had to say the same thing 100 times and why isn't this stuff getting done? And then they would get upset with me and say, well, you know, we didn't think you were that stressed about it. But that's because I had a team of lovable fools. Now that was on me. That's why I love teaching this stuff, because so many business owners do it, especially when you're a small business and you're trying to grow, you're trying to scale, and you've never really done proper training on hiring, HR, management, leadership. You don't have the right systems and processes. You'll normally hire a team full of lovable fools, incompetent jerks, and competent jerks. And very rarely do you get the lovable stars, which is why a lot of businesses struggle to grow. The incompetent jerks, we all know these people. These are people that we don't like. They're a pain in the ass and they're incompetent. Normally these people here, they go straight away. So we just get rid of them because they're jerks and they're not good at their job. Where most business owners struggle is that they will normally keep these around, which means a lot of time and effort goes into training, developing, communication, and this here can slow a business down and bottleneck it. The other thing that happens is that these ones here you may keep around, but because of this, if you get frustrated enough with them, you'll just fire them or they'll just leave because you'll have conflict. The competent jerks though, unfortunately, what will happen a lot of the time is that business owners will keep them around. This creates a culture problem. So here we have a culture issue. So your culture gets smashed. Now, there's only two things that really help grow a business. It's skill set and mindset. This here will destroy the mindset of the organization, but they have a high skill set. This one here, if you keep the lovable fool around, you end up reducing the skills of the organization. And so essentially, you're creating huge problems in your organization because you're lowering the culture, lowering the skill set, and then you're just going to have culture by default. It's just going to create massive problems. You're going to be a stressed out, burnt out, tired business owner. This is the reason why 56% of businesses fail in 4 years in Australia. And it's the reason why I think it's about 86% of businesses don't have more than 4 staff. And I think it's about 92% that don't do over $2 million a year in revenue. What you want to do is, if you are one of those business owners that I've been talking about, the stressed out, tired, burnt out ones, you want to go and do an audit. Sit down and draw this little diagram out and ask yourself the honest question. Who are the lovable fools? Who are the competent jerks? Who are the incompetent jerks? And who are the lovable stars? And grab every one of your team members and put them on a little card or a post-it note and stick them in the squares. When you know this, then you have to make a choice. Do we get rid of the lovable fools? Do we get rid of the competent jerks? And how do we hire more people who are in here somewhere? We need more lovable stars. We need the people who have great skill set, are a great culture fit, and are moving in the same direction so that we're all mission driven. So taking a little bit of time and doing this will tell you what your next moves are in hiring. The other thing is that when you hire, you really want to hire to solve problems. What a lot of small business owners do especially, and some larger business owners do it, and we get hired to go and deal with these situations because they say, I don't know why the business isn't growing. Normally what you'll find is this here has some form of impact. But also what we find is that management and leadership don't normally know what problems the teams are supposed to be solving, which then means they don't know what problems staff members are supposed to be solving. Now in your business, you're essentially hiring people to solve problems. If you don't know what those problems are, then you can't hire the right people to solve those right problems. For instance, you might hire a salesperson to solve a cash flow problem. So in the interview process, you can say, look, we have inconsistent cash flow. How would you solve that problem in the interview process? If they can't give you an answer, then they're the wrong person for the job. If they go through and they tell you, well, what I would probably do is I would look through the sales and marketing funnels. I would put in these systems. I'd put in these processes. I would write better scripting. We could test out some stuff. And we want to try and keep that consistency month on month on month with lead generation, warming the leads up, and so on. Then you know that you've got the right person, or potentially could have the right person, providing they're a culture fit. Again, you don't want to hire the competent jerk, but you need to know what problems a team solves. So with marketing, for instance, it may be lead generation. So if you know that the marketing team needs to generate 1,000 leads per month, then that's what the marketing team needs to do. In there, then you hire people that help to solve that problem. If you do that well, you'll have a team of lovable stars versus a team of competent jerks or lovable fools. One of my close friends called Mark Smith, he is the COO of On The Run Group, or OTR Group here in Australia. They just sold for $1.1 billion. He was talking about this and he said the most damaging people he has ever found in an organization are these people here. Because even though most business owners say that they would get rid of the lovable fool, they actually keep them around. They try to compensate for the lovable fool or people who are incompetent. And then that squeezes resources from the rest of the team, the business, the organization. And also you need to invest a lot more in training and development. And so that can stagnate the business. So he said, always watch out for the lovable fools because these are the ones that sneak under the radar. Something that business owners also need to be aware of is that the lovable star is normally the person that the business owner relies upon. So this is your high performing, good culture fit. What can happen is that you'll overload them with work. They'll normally be the person who comes to you and says, I'll do more of it, I'll do more of it. They will be great until they melt down, or until one day you just get a resignation letter on your desk and you go, what happened? This is the person that I rely upon. This is the person I give everything to. They are the lovable star. They're the superstar in the team or the organization. And what it does is it creates key man or key person risk in your organization, because if they leave, you essentially may have, which a lot of businesses do, a team full of lovable fools or competent jerks, or maybe incompetent jerks, depending on how good your hiring process or your hiring system is. So just make sure you look after them, give them time off, make sure that you're aware of their burnout. You may even give them bonuses or things like that, but really look after these and try to create more lovable stars so you're not just reliant upon one person in the organization, because it does create a huge risk, especially if they leave. Anyway, I hope that helps you to audit your staff, and it will hopefully help you to create better management and leadership systems in your own organization, or even when you're hiring in your business, so that you can make sure that your staff are doing their job and they're doing it effectively and you get optimal business growth. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.